All right, let's talk about something huge. We're going to take a completely fresh look at hormone therapy. We're going to go way beyond the usual headlines and really dig into the powerful, often hidden, role it plays in our overall health. Let's get right into it.
So, when I say hormone therapy, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's probably this, right? Hot flashes, menopause, ED. It's almost always talked about as a way to make life more comfortable, something to manage those really obvious symptoms of getting older.
But what if that's got it all wrong? I mean, completely backwards. The sources we're diving into today make a really bold claim. Dealing with things like hot flashes and ED, well, that's not even the main point of hormone therapy. It's just a bonus. And that one little idea, it changes the entire conversation. Okay, so if those are just the side perks, what's the real story here? That brings us to the first huge concept, understanding the true system-wide job that hormones do in our bodies. And just look at this list. This isn't just about feeling a little better day to day. We're talking about preventing your bones from becoming brittle, literally protecting your heart, building and keeping muscle, and even keeping your mind sharp. This is about deep, long-term, foundational health. So how? How can hormones do all of this? Well, the answer is actually incredibly simple, but it's kind of profound. It all comes down to this. Your body has hormone receptors on pretty much every single cell. Your brain, your heart, your bones, your muscles, they all have these little docking stations waiting for hormones to tell them what to do. It's fundamental to how your body works. Okay, but hold on. If hormones are so good for us, why is everyone so scared of them? Why are even doctors sometimes hesitant? That brings us to the next big piece of this puzzle. We've got to tackle the biggest myth in this whole story head on. You know, a lot of this fear, it really boils down to the fallout from one single famous study, the Women's Health Initiative. According to our source, the way the media reported on this study created a massive panic, causing millions to avoid hormone therapy. And that fear, it came with a truly devastating cost.
Just look at this number, 91,610. I want you to just sit with that for a second. This isn't just some abstract figure on a screen.
This number, it represents actual human lives. An analysis showed that this is the estimated number of excess, avoidable deaths just among women in their 50s who'd had a hysterectomy. They didn't get the estrogen their bodies desperately needed, all because of the fear that came from that one study. And you know, the danger isn't just in not starting hormone therapy, it's also in suddenly stopping it. Research shows that when women stop, the risk of dying from a heart attack or stroke actually goes up in that first year. Why? Because when you pull that estrogen away, you lose its protective effects, and arteries can literally start to tighten up. All right, so we've torn down the big myth. Now let's build up the truth. Let's start thinking about hormones not as a treatment for a problem, but as these incredible hidden protectors that are essential for our long-term health. Let's get some real perspective here, because this is so important. For so long, the conversation has been dominated by the fear of breast cancer, right? But look at the actual numbers. Heart disease kills 5 times more women than breast cancer. It is, without a doubt, the #1 killer. This is the risk we really need to be focused on. So what role do hormones play in this? Well, check this out. 50%. In one trial, women on estrogen saw the progression of their heart disease slow down by half compared to those who weren't. A 50% reduction. That is a massive, massive protective shield against the biggest health threat women face. And hey, it's not just estrogen we need to talk about. Let's bust some major myths about testosterone in women. People think it's a male hormone, but guess what? It's the most abundant, active hormone in the female body. There's this fear it'll make you aggressive, when the source says it's actually mood stabilizing. And the biggest one of all, cancer risk? The evidence we're looking at suggests the complete opposite. It appears to be breast protective. You know, all this data and science is crucial, but sometimes it's the human stories that really hit home. This quote is from a patient's husband. His wife had been struggling for years, and after getting the right hormone therapy, this is what he said. It just speaks volumes, doesn't it? It's not just about health data. It's about quality of life. It's about relationships. It's about getting yourself back. And all of this, it leads us to a really fundamental shift in how we should be thinking about health. It's this powerful idea of healing versus just treating. So what's the difference? Well, treating is kind of what we're used to, right? You have a symptom, you take a pill, the symptom goes away. But the reason you got it in the first place might still be there. Healing, on the other hand, that's totally different. That's about digging down to find the root cause and fixing that for good. And here is the core idea, the big takeaway. The thinking is that a lot of modern drugs are designed to treat symptoms, but natural hormones, they can actually heal. They don't just put a Band-Aid on the problem, they go right to the root cause, which in many cases is just a simple deficiency. Think about it. You're not deficient in an antidepressant or a statin. You're deficient in the very hormones your body was made to have.
And that's what I want to leave you with, this one big question to chew on. What if all those symptoms that we're so quick to label as a disease, the anxiety, the fatigue, the brain fog, maybe even the heart issues, what if they aren't diseases at all? What if they're just signs that your body's missing something it needs? It's a powerful thought, and it could completely change how we look at our own health.